Hello, and welcome to Pest Perspective episode number 3. Thanks to the massive positive response so far. I've had loads of feedback off the pest control community, people in America, from all over the world. It's been a bit crazy, really, the response I've had to the podcast, because it's my first one in pest control. But if anyone doesn't know, I used to do gaming podcasts since 2020. I did interview a lot of people. So that probably explains why I kind of know what to ask people and how to respond with other questions. I've got a bit of experience. It was nothing. I got like on my gaming channel, it was like 500 something subscribers, but it's a bit of fun. But it was never. That's where I got the experience from. If anyone's wondering. But this week I've got Adam Holt on from Hawaii. That's correct?
Yep, Hawaii.
Hawaii time zone.
It's actually pronounced Hawaii. What is it? Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Is that better? Yeah. So, how are you doing this evening here?
I'm fantastic. I got my coffee, had my breakfast that my lovely wife made, and so I'm charged and ready to go. And so, yeah.
Good to hear. Right. Do you want to give an introduction to the podcast audience as to who you are and what you do and your experience? Because I'll be honest, if you look at this man's LinkedIn, it's massive. You've been, I read 25 years you've been in the business. So
yeah, so
it's a science teacher too.
Here. Yeah, so I turned 46 this year, and I've been in pest control since about the age of 21. I started out in the Department of Agriculture back in Florida. So even though that wasn't technically like commercial or residential pest control with Terminix, it was still pest control, right? So
yeah,
it was actually working with the state Department of Agriculture to quarantine insects is like, I don't know, potpourri came into Target, right? With an infestation of like beetles. That was kind of like my first introduction, things like that. And so
nice.
that kind of like, just quickly evolved and manifested itself to other opportunities. I mean, I've been an education specialist for mosquito control on the local county side.
Nice, that sounds good.
I've been evolved into Terminix, where I actually started my journey there, and I would say the real commercial pest control.
Okay.
I did that as a commercial sales rep for a year, which I think anybody in the industry should have to be a technician and be a rep. I mean, if you do that, you definitely understand thoroughly what technicians go through, right? So I did that for a year, and then I quickly segued into a regional technical specialist role where I was managing pretty much 21 branches across the state of Florida, 1,200 technicians, a lot of branch managers. It was a very quick change, but a great change. And then, I mean, I could sit here and go through every single piece, but I think the reality is, I mean, I've been on the technical side for Terminix, Advanced IPM. My last role was Innovative Pest Solutions, three different PCT top 100 companies. I've been on the software side. So I worked for ServSuite, which is one of the big competitors out there, aka Service Titan.
I've heard of that. I have heard of that.
Yep.
One. I have.
I worked for them for 4 years, and then I'm also on their patent for their electronic remote monitoring product. So I got to be a piece of that beautiful
You got
thing.
a piece of the money? Piece of the money too? Have you got a piece of the money?
Oh no! Oh my gosh! It unfortunately didn't do as well as we were hoping. But I think it was awesome. It was awesome to be able to be a part of that journey and learn, everything from conception to execution to manufacturing out of China, molding, all that stuff. So, but being part of all of the technical stuff, being a part of the software, I actually worked for Real Green as well. Real Green as well. They're a lawn care software company. They just got bought by PestPack recently.
Oh, okay.
I worked for them for a little bit, and I helped them develop their whole pest control side. And then I think going on from there, I've actually been on the manufacturing side. I worked for Douglas Products on the fumigation side, and then AmGuard Products, which does all of their products. So AmGuard basically sells like, I'm having a brain fart. Navigator SC, your fipronil-based product for termites. So I got to be on that side as a sales rep, and yeah, dude, I feel like, Sean, I've actually done it all. I'm currently teaching right now 8th grade science. I also have been an adjunct professor, so I've done a little bit of everything.
Well, is there anything more you could do? I mean, is retirement coming? You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, I'm a hustler, Sean. That's what I tell people. I'm a hustler. So, I mean, between right now teaching 8th grade science, I started my own consulting business, and I'm also working for Pest since, so I'm like, it's been a journey, but I don't know. I don't like to sit still very long.
Oh no, I mean it's good to move about. Obviously, as you like to move about because you've been. Yeah, it's quite the CV, or we call it CV. You call it resume. We do curriculum vitae in England. We call them, but
Yep, yep.
it's a resume because when you spell resume, we say resume. It's spelled the
Mm,
same way as resume. It's resume.
right,
Yes.
right.
But yeah. So there's loads of different avenues here to talk about. One of your most interesting ones, obviously, is the name Dabug. 500,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah,
Goodness sakes.
yeah.
Some people said to me, how did you get him on the podcast? I was like, he asked me. Celebrity on the podcast. That's serious, that is. It's really good content. It is. I've been looking at some of it recently. But to amass 500,000, but you give the value, don't you? Is that what people learn? So that's how you've got the majority of your following on
It's
that.
social media, Sean, and anybody who's listening. It's such an interesting. I feel like there's no way to figure it out, if that makes sense. I
I know.
thought I had it figured out because I was like, okay, post 3 times a day, make sure you use all the viral hashtags, make sure you use all the
Yeah.
viral music that goes with it. But I'm like, even right now, I can post a video and it doesn't necessarily go viral. And then I can post a video and it does go viral. So it's really
Oh,
what
okay.
is amassing to the audience? What are they liking? I mean, they tend to like the gross out content. I was
Oh, I
posting a lot of
see.
gross out content. One of my first videos that went viral was I did a duet to a person removing a tick with a piece of floss.
Okay.
Yeah, so first off, do you know what a duet is?
I'll be
It's where
honest with
you
you. No, is it two
it's where you get
people?
side by side. So you record a
Okay.
video next to somebody else's video. And
Yeah.
so the video over here was this person, they took dental floss, they basically tied it around the base of where the tick was biting the person, and then they
Okay.
twirl the floss up, and then when they let it go, the tick pops out.
Oh, okay.
So I was explaining in my video why what was happening. And then
Yeah.
essentially, I don't know why, but everybody liked that and it hit like 10 million views and I
Did
got
you wake up in
contacted
the
by
morning? Did you wake
I'm
up in the
sorry?
morning like? Did you wake up in the morning like your phone blew up? You're like, is that kind of what
Yeah,
happens?
literally. I woke up and I was like, "Oh my god." And I was like, I think I had like literally overnight I got like 30,000 new followers. Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, is TikTok? I mean, this is what I'm told because with TikTok, I've got a video and it's nowhere near your level. I'm telling people not to block holes for wasp nests. It won't. It can make the problem worse. And I got,
Right.
I think, 16, 18,000. I thought that was great. I did, but a lot of people and they're telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
You gotta if you're talking about the comments, you gotta
Yeah.
ignore that real quick.
Oh no! Now I've learned things like that over time with building videos and stuff. But no, you with TikTok they call it um, for younger, for obviously for kids and that, they all use TikTok. They call it. It's like Google now. People are going to TikTok to search for the answers on TikTok rather than some of them go to Google. Is that right?
Oh.
Organic search. That's what I've heard. I heard Gary Vaynerchuk. I heard Gary Vaynerchuk say that. I did.
Oh, to your point, people like I do this. My wife does this. If we
Yeah.
actually, whenever so to back up real quick and give you the rest of my story. I lived in Florida until 2017, and then I left Florida in 2017. And I moved to Colorado. Then I went over to
Okay.
Michigan. Then I went to Sacramento, California, which is Northern California. Then I went back to Philadelphia. Then I came down to San Diego, and now I'm over here in Hawaii.
Okay.
And that's all in the past 8 years. Now, that was just to move around and try to, take different roles, build up my resume, like you
Yeah.
said, or my curriculum vita, build
Yeah.
that stuff up. But back in San Diego, when we moved there, I was like, where's the best sushi place to go? TikTok, sushi, San Diego. Bam.
Oh, you've done it. You've done it. Yes.
All
There you
right. I'm
go.
in Here
Yeah.
it gets even better. I'm in San Diego. I'm like chiropractor, San Diego. Bam.
Exactly. It proves the point. Were you gutted when the ban came in for 12 hours?
Oh my gosh. That I knew what's sad, Sean, is a lot of people deleted it. Now in the US they can't get it back.
Can't they? Oh, okay. Didn't know
The
that.
Apple Store won't put it back on until all the regulation stuff is solid.
All right. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't.
Yeah, so for all of you who deleted it,
Yeah.
we told you not to.
Well, exactly. Because you need something like that would happen when the new president came in. He'd be like, "I'll save it," But yeah,
Well, you know what,
that's
Sean? You know what a lot of people ask me? They'll say, can you monetize off of TikTok? And obviously the answer is yes. I mean,
can you?
yeah, so you have to get to 1,000 followers to be able to go live.
Okay, yeah.
Once you get to 10,000 followers, you can become part of the TikTok creator program.
Okay.
All right. And then but there's like 3 checklists. There's like 10,000 followers, so many likes, and so many posts. You have like these 3 things you have to do. And
Yeah.
if you qualify for that and you apply, then you get accepted. Then at that point, if you post any video you post over 1 minute long, you can monetize after.
Nice.
After. So
Okay.
last year, whenever I was in between jobs, I actually decided to take a month off from work because I had 2 videos that hit 50 million views each.
Wow.
And
Going up.
across 2 months, it paid me $10,000.
That's nice. Wow. That's crazy. Because is it on the same level as YouTube monetization or not? Is it not as high as YouTube monetization?
I don't know what YouTube is, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
I haven't monetized off YouTube yet.
No. YouTube's the one a lot of people go for, but that 10 grand from that's not bad. That's amazing.
I mean, you should go, like, if you don't ever go onto TikTok and watch the people that are live and that are like, getting people are tipping them and everything.
That's crazy.
I watched a girl. I follow a girl right now. She goes on live almost every day. I'm not kidding you. She clears like 10 grand a day.
It's mental.
It's literally. I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, if you want to throw money at me, you can throw money at me all day long.
Exactly. Yeah. But now I didn't know you could actually make money out of YouTube, TikTok. I thought it was just these brand deals. I thought.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing too. Like, I mean, everything you get, like this thing behind me, that's a floor light. I got that for free off TikTok. I get so much stuff for free.
Oh, nice. I've recently seen a bag of your the fly bag you had. Was that recent? You were showing off a fly bag?
It's actually right outside. I got it right here, dude. That thing is like ridiculous. It smells horrible, but it works amazing.
We've got them here, and they work great. They stink, but they work.
Oh,
they work great.
They
smell natural.
Horrible.
They're eco-friendly, but they stink.
Ugh.
they.
I'm pretty sure whoever made it tried to make the ingredients smell equivalent to roadkill or trash.
Oh, it smells bad because it tells you to start with that it's not going to work straight away. You've got it there. I can't
it's got to like fester. Yeah.
That's it for like 2 days, and then it would start to get. Yeah. And it would start to fill up.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to do a TikTok of them this summer. If we have a good summer of flies, I'm going to do a video like you.
Do it.
See.
I will tell you this. I haven't watched your TikTok, but to anybody, and because I know we're getting pest control listeners on here. So to anybody who's listening, and I know we haven't even gotten to pest sense yet, but on a side note, especially if anybody needs help with social media, don't hesitate to reach out. I love helping. I love giving back. And I mean, I can give some people some really quick tips and tricks on, things they can do to help grow their channel.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I will, when I put the show up, I will put all your details in the description so people can get a hold of you, and for your various facets you help with. Obviously,
Gotcha.
Social in pest control, social media by the UK. A lot of people they're afraid to do it because it's. I can see why, because you can get a lot of stick off people. You can, but you just got a lot of my posts. In some of them, I try and educate them rather than try and sell. So it looks like an advert. I try and educate.
Yeah,
let's say.
You're 100% right. I mean, I'm more on the knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
So if we educate, like you said, then I'm not gonna lie. There's times where I put that fly thing, or no, last night I put some lights on that I got off TikTok.
That's fine.
I'm like, hey, I'm like, if you like them, click here, you can buy them.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. But social media is a big, even within like LinkedIn, it is a big. I'm not saying I've got direct business from LinkedIn, but I've made a lot of industry connections, and that's how I believe that's how I got my trial with I'm doing a trial with Syngenta in April via the MPTA on digital monitoring, because they seen that I was very skeptical about digital monitoring.
Yeah, I
From a
know. I tried to get you to do mine, and you were like,
yeah,
"Nah." I'm like, "I'm good, mate."
from a small business perspective, from a small business, yeah, but this trial I'm not paying for it. It's funded by Syngenta. It is. They're funding me.
Who said I was going to make you pay for the trial?
Oh, that's true. That's how. Yeah, you're right there.
You got to ask.
Well, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm trying that because I'm a skeptic. But that was through the power of LinkedIn. It was. So if so, what would you say to people if you were to say people like someone's watching now that's scared of is in pest control? Because this is basically who's going to watch this. Scared to do social media. What would you do? Like a little thing to try it with. What would you say? Because a lot of
Um,
people would be scared. A lot of them are.
I I empower everybody to, like, not be scared of social media. Worst comes to worst, you know what you can always do? You can click that little delete button. You put it up,
That
you
is
don't
true.
like it, you delete it. You put it up and you get a lot of stuff going on, or a lot of people haters, you delete it. It's real simple. And
True.
so, I mean, I just empower people to put yourself out there, because if you're a pest control business and you're a small business owner, you're already putting yourself out there, right? You're already putting yourself out there, and you're just trying to feed your family at the end of the day. You're trying to make something for you and your family maybe at the end of the day. So I always empower people. Social media is A lot of people are scared to get in front of the camera, and I'm like, why are you scared to get in front of the camera? Just do it.
I was. I'll tell you why. I was. Because obviously I've been training since last year, since I recovered from my knee surgery. A lot of it, I thought in my head, oh, I'm a bigger guy, people are going to take the mickey out of me. I found out that no one actually has took the mickey out of me. They've been very supportive because they can see the transition and me getting slimmer. And they've only been even on the platform, even on TikTok, people have been nice. I can't get over it. It's weird because I thought I'm going to get loads of hate because I'm bigger, I'm not thin, but no, it's been positive. So if anyone
Yeah.
out there thinks that, I didn't get no stick, haven't so
Yeah, and
far.
it's
So
you can't let the world affect you. And self-confidence. I mean, dude, look at people back in, like, I don't know, like, all the movie industry, Chris Farley. Like, look at these people that are bigger. You know what I mean? Like, all bigger people, and people love them. They're comedic. They're, you know what I
exactly,
mean? No matter who you are, you're going to get hate. You know what I mean? People can get hate, especially as you become bigger in the limelight industry.
yeah.
There's a potential you're going to get more hate. And honestly, I can't tell you the stuff that I've had people call me on social media.
Yeah, well, yeah, really, it's really bad
Yeah.
stuff. You just,
I mean, yeah, on TikTok, yes, not on LinkedIn, but on
uh,
TikTok, I've had definitely very bad things said. And you know what? I don't care, because guess what? I'm where I am, and you are where you are.
exactly. I learned that off. I listened to Gary Vaynerchuk a lot, and he said if someone calls you a message on the internet, you shouldn't worry. You're a grown man or woman or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's their insecurity, not yours.
Stay strong.
Don't,
Stay
yeah,
strong.
exactly.
Stay strong.
Yes, you won't see
There
it.
you go.
I've not got the big muscles yet.
But you're working on it, and that's what
We're
matters.
working on it. I am.
Right.
Uh, So, as I'm not big into technology yet, obviously digital wise, I'm getting there.
Right.
Do you want to talk about Pest Sense and what it is and what you do for Pest Sense?
Yeah, of course. And I tell everybody when I come to these podcasts, I talk about PestSense, but I talk about other technologies as well, right?
Okay.
Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, PestSense is a beautiful technology. Why? Because, I mean, you've literally got this rodent base station that sits outside, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I don't know many that can sit vertically.
No, as far as I know, no.
So this one actually, you can sit vertically, and obviously
Okay.
the entrance holes are on each side of the station as it sits vertically. It can obviously lay horizontally as well. But the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about the vertical thing is that, if I'm a commercial person and I've got all these exterior rodent base stations, what happens? They always get run over. They get hit by cars. They get hit by the trucks backing up to the loading dock. So if I can lay it vertical, now I can protect it a little more, right? It's also
See what
going
you
to be a
mean?
little more It's going to be a little more cryptic for the rodents, right? Because now you've got this thin thing when they're running along their trail against a wall.
Oh,
right?
yeah. So you mean. Yeah.
The other beauty of the technology, obviously, is, and I don't know of any of them that have this, but we are one of the first ones that have the ability to measure the bait consumption of what's being eaten on the rods.
Okay. Oh, that's quite interesting. Because
Yeah,
then
so
you'll
you can
know
actually
if your bait's gone or your non-tox bait's gone. Either way, you will.
correct, and you can literally see the exact consumption that's being eaten 24/7. So it's also LoRa-based technology, so it's true 24/7. I can look at it on the computer right now and see what's going on. And then, like,
And,
kind of like
and
you
the
said,
phone,
go ahead.
do you get notifications on your mobile? Is that part of it as well?
Yep,
Yeah, that's good
yep.
then. That is.
And so
I
the
thought,
beauty of kind of, being able to, watch this bait consumption real live time is that, you know, if, like you said, if I'm in a facility where I want to use non-tox bait, then if I obviously have, an infestation or activity going on or hotspot
yeah,
activity, I can now go in and replace that with the tox bait.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
And so, I'm not trying to give, like, I tell people I'm not advertising for BASF, but they have,
yeah.
I don't know if you've heard, but they have pre-Lantra now.
What's that? Sorry, pre.
Pre-Lantra is the non-toxic to
Oh,
cilantro.
right, cilantro. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have seen that. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a perfect example where I can use pre-Lantra in my bait box. And then once I notice the activity, I can switch it over to cilantro.
Ah, then they'll
And
feed
so,
straight off it because they'll be used to it. So that's the
yeah,
idea, isn't it? That is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's one of the beauties. Another beauty is that all bait stations have two entrances, right?
Yeah.
And so our technology also gives you literally exact data on which side they came in,
Okay.
right?
That's
Which,
good.
does that sound like
Yeah.
that's beneficial? That's actually super beneficial, right? Because if we
Yeah.
know which side they came in, it gives us better idea to know which way they're going, where they came from, all of the above.
Yeah. Exactly. That does help because you could try and work out which direction they're coming from. Because sometimes
Correct.
you'll get activity in one area and the rest of the place will have no activity. So that will help. That will.
Yeah, no, correct, absolutely. And then so the other amazing thing about PestSense that I need to make sure everybody's aware of is that we're one of the only kind of, I would say, almost full solution ERM softwares where you can actually add all your non-smart devices to our technology. So just to
Right?
kind of make sure you understand that. So with like
Yeah.
Bell Sensing, right? You can only put Bell Sensing devices on that technology.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
we go to
Okay.
InView, you can only put their devices on their software. If we went to like
Okay.
ActiveSense, you can only put their devices on their software. With
Okay.
PestSense, you can literally put all of your non-smart devices, your flylight trap, your tin cat. You can put everything on our software.
Oh, that's good because it's more. It's more. I'd say that's more open and user friendly. It's
Yep.
more. I'd say it sounds more. How do you say pest control user friendly or whatever? I don't know the
Yeah,
term
I
for
mean,
it.
so to bring it down, Sean, to break it down, what it does is that if you're using Bell Sensing, which again, I love Bell Sensing. I actually
Okay.
I'm a huge advocate for them. When I worked for Advanced IPM, before I left Advanced IPM, I had installed 5,000 Bell Sensing devices for our company,
Okay.
a ton. And so I'm a huge advocate for them. But
Yeah.
the reality was my technician had to use this software for Bell Sensing, and then they had to go use the pest control software for all the other devices.
Oh, okay.
Now with PestSense, we can merge all the devices together, and now they only have to use one software to do all their work orders, all their devices, everything.
Makes perfect sense. It does. It's a different option. If you're the only one on the market that does it, you've got the unique advantage. You have.
Yeah. And
You
so a
have
lot of, now
currently.
here's the downfall, right? We're going to talk
Okay.
about pricing now. Regular rodent based station pricing is around here, Bell Sensing is around here, and then PestSense is around here.
Okay.
So pricing's more expensive, but you're getting more technology. With Bell Sensing, are you familiar with Bell Sensing?
I'll be honest. I've seen the adverts in magazines, but I've never actually. And I've seen a little video, I think, but I'm not too up on it. I'm not.
So with Bell Sensing, you're familiar with the Evo rodent base station.
No.
Well,
Either.
so the Evo rodent the base station pops open and it's got a plate, right? So it's got a plate that sits down, and then the what do you call it? The bait rod can go inside there.
Oh,
All you have
okay.
to do for Bell
Okay. Just
Sensing
same
is
as that.
all you have to
Okay.
do with Bell Sensing is you take the regular plate that's in there out, and then you put the new one that's got all the technology built into it.
Oh, okay.
And that plate basically is a weight plate kind of motion sensor. So anytime anything comes in, they're recording activity.
Okay.
And now the only way I can get that data, if I'm
Yeah.
Sean and I want to get that data, I've got to go on site. I've got to be within 100 feet of the technology. It's Bluetooth capability. So basically,
Yeah.
once I open my app, it just goes, and I get all the information from
Oh,
Bell
okay.
Sensing. But I have to be on site
On site.
versus
Okay.
PestSense. You could do right there where you're sitting right now.
That's good, that is. So, a question I've got about Pest Sense, and you probably know more, or about all digital products. What happens if it rains and you've got a flood? Do the bait boxes with the tech in become knackered? I presume.
No,
No. Okay. I just wondered.
no.
That was all.
Mm-mm. That's a
Okay.
great question, though. Yeah.
Because we've had a lot of rain in England. We have loads.
I mean, I will say if it floods, you know what I mean, then you might have to like, you know what I mean? If it actually like floods, you might have to, you know what I mean? Like kind of, I don't know. You know, it's a good question. I will say, Sean, because I don't think we put it through a flooding scenario, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
I just there we go. It sounds like I've asked you a question that no one's asking before. Then I just
It is a
thought,
fair question. You have asked me.
yeah.
That is a question I think nobody's asked me. But I don't know. I think when we think about it, I don't think we think about like what's going to happen to the station if it floods because I don't think that happens very much.
Okay. No,
Does
just
flooding
obviously,
happen a lot where you are?
um, not anywhere where bait stations would be. More where I live, a lot of roads have become flooded, and they've had to
Okay.
block. Where I live in a small county in England called Rutland, and we've had a lot of flooding recently. Because what happens is, we've had a lot of, when we had the snow, the lots of farm fields. It all melted and loads of rain, so it doubled up on we had loads of flooding around the country. Actually, we did, but it wasn't in anywhere that had bait boxes, luckily. But
Gotcha.
I was just asking. That was all.
No,
But
that's fair. I mean, like I mean, so we had a crazy storm a couple of weeks ago here in Hawaii, and it was pretty bad, like in town, right? Because like
yeah,
the in Hawaii, the towns like in town, I call it town. That's Honolulu or Waikiki. The
okay,
canals, like the water in the canals, are not far from the road, right? Like let's just say the road's here, the water's
yeah,
like right here. It's not far. So anytime we get crazy rain or flooding happens like instantly. So you're making me wonder like what would happen to the base station? Is it just gonna like fly away? Is it gonna cause any
yeah.
activity? You know what I
Because
mean?
the problem is, like, there's what I feel there's local to me. I don't do the pub. I don't service it. I feel sorry for them because they live right next to like a stream. And
Right,
every time properly rains, it floods the pub. I really
right.
feel bad for them. I do. But there's nothing you can actually. They've put
Yeah, you
barriers
can't
up
do
and all
anything.
sorts. But yeah, it's just
Yeah,
where it's located,
right.
unfortunately, right next to that.
Yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
do feel for them. It's not
I do
good,
too.
you know.
I will say, Sean, though, you know, to kind of like come back to your question, though,
Yeah.
I think your question could apply to all technology that's outside, right? Like, what's
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
happen to any technology when it rains real hard, or if like there's a flood?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's, to be honest, the water usually knackers the components, doesn't it? So that's what happens
I
with
mean, a
chips,
lot. I
usually.
will say that with technology and with the improvement of all the technology and things being built, a lot of them are built to be waterproof, obviously, because it is exterior,
Yeah. Yeah. It
right?
is.
Now, there's a difference though between waterproof and you know, like your cell phone, you can put in the water, it can get rained on, but you're not supposed to go submerge it in water.
No, no, no,
So there's a
no.
difference, you know.
There is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Exactly.
know what it is. It's water resistant versus like waterproof.
Ah, see what you mean. Yeah. Because all bait boxes get wet, don't they?
Correct.
Because they're outside, but it's
Right.
actually being fully submerged is very different. I wouldn't
Correct.
expect it to work after that, but you don't expect it to happen. You just
You know what? Now I'm
some.
going to go back and I might try. That might be my trial. My next video is I might try to submerge it in water and see what happens.
I've got your next viral video. Clearly,
There we go.
who knows? You know your where we go. So how did you become? It's
Entomologist?
there we go. I was trying to say it without saying it wrong because I knew I'm on a podcast. But how did you become that? Did you have to have like
An
a degree?
entomologist.
Did you have to have like a degree to
You
become one of
know,
them?
so I grew up in a small town in Florida. I grew up on a farm of 9 acres. We had literally
Okay.
every animal you can think of. I mean, chickens, peacocks, rabbits, cows, goats, pigs, like all the above.
Yeah.
And I kind of remember to a small age, like when my dad would go to tag the turkeys, so they, you know, couldn't get away. and he would take the turkey off of his shirt, and I would be so fascinated with all the ectoparasites on the shirt, like the lice and the mites
Oh,
and everything
okay.
crawling around. I don't know. It's that's part of the story. And then fast forward to where I was a senior in high school, and I was dual enrolled in college and high school at the same time.
Yeah.
And my schedule at the college got messed up, and so my guidance counselor was like, "You like science? Why don't you take this zoology class?" So I ended up taking
Duology.
this. I ended up taking the standard level zoology class in high school, which of course was
Okay.
way too easier for me because it was standard level, right? For
Okay.
the U.S., that means it's not honor. So I was like, I know I'm going to
Okay.
blow this out of the water. But oddly enough, that teacher ended up having us do an insect collection. And so I had to do an insect collection. I had to go out and collect them. I had to taxonomically identify them. I had to curate them, the whole process. And like, that's where I kind of found my love for entomology. But I always wanted to be a vet. So I actually
Oh,
decided I went to University of Florida. It's
yeah.
stamped right here.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I went to University of
Yeah.
Florida, and I did the entomology pre-vet track to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
Graduated with my undergrad in entomology, and then got accepted to vet school, and then just decided not to go. And then I continued on the entomology track and did my master's in entomology. So I did my master's thesis on bird lice. So I spent
Oh,
3 summers in the Florida Keys picking ectoparasites off of birds, mites, ticks, hippobossid louse flies, you name it. I was picking them off.
I'll tell you one thing. I know you're on the Beauties and Beasties podcast next week because they've advertised it, yeah? You and Alex Wade are going to have an amazing time because he absolutely loves talking about insects. I'll tell you now. I'll tell you,
I'm excited.
he loves it. He does.
I'm
But yeah,
excited.
but I thought I'd just mention that because he loves it. When anyone likes insects, he
Okay.
absolutely loves it. He does. But yeah, no, it does sound very hard what you did. You had a degree. Um, yeah, you've
I
got to
wouldn't
be a
say it was
very
hard. I
clever
mean, you know,
man.
it's I tell people, entomology is an extension of biology.
Yeah.
So I've taken
Okay.
probably 150 credit hours in biological sciences. I've
Okay.
taken everything you can think of in college as far as genetics, physics, calculus, biochemistry. You take all the courses. I'm 17 hours from my PhD. I never
Okay.
finished, but
Okay.
people are like, "Are you ever going to finish?" And the answer is, I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. But luckily enough, rewind back to working with Terminex in 2011,
Yeah.
they actually made me get my board certified entomologist certification.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's been such a blessing, and I'm so thankful and grateful for them for actually having me become a BCE because there's not many of us in the entire world.
So that what the BCE means on your CV on
Correct.
LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I didn't actually know, and I thought I looked it up, and I thought I couldn't, and then that didn't come up. They didn't want to ask in case, but
that's
that's where
okay.
it came from. So, what does that mean for you to be a certified on board certified? What does that mean?
Board certified means that if you're not familiar with it, we have Entomological Society of America. So that's a big organization here. And so they basically govern, they have a board and they govern basically, excuse me, anybody who has gotten a degree in science and or obviously a
Yeah.
degree in entomology. They can now
Okay.
come on and they can take a test and they can become a board certified entomologist. And so what does that mean for me? I mean, it just means that for me, especially in the US,
Yeah.
especially with me having my consulting business, there's a lot of pest control companies now, and specifically clients of pest control companies that are wanting to have BCEs on staff as a retainer.
Okay. Okay.
And so
Yeah.
that's obviously it's a big deal. And like
Yeah.
for me, I'm like I love kind of managing my own business, and I love being able to kind of do my own thing. And so I started my consulting business here just very freshly, just a couple of months ago, and it's going okay. It's
Good.
but it's hard to get a consulting business going while you're working 2 other jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. It will be. There are some people out there like yourself that are dedicated. I've got 2 or 3 different main jobs, and then you've got your side job. But you'll get there. You could be one of the biggest consulting firms in America one day. You don't. You might be. I have faith.
You bring up a valid point. I never even thought about trying to see if I could get other BCE to join my consulting firm, and that way I could literally
Oh,
just, you know what I
I
mean?
was joking there. I was like,
No, you
so
make a valid point. I mean, maybe I can try to like bring other people on.
so. Do you want to talk about that? Your consulting firm? Because
Sure.
that's an
Yeah.
interesting angle. That is.
It's just, I just started it recently. I put a post on LinkedIn. I don't know if you saw it, but it had a bunch
I
of green check marks, and it was like, these are all the things that I can do for your company, and
yeah
I think the thing that really fascinates me is it still comes back to that giving back and helping people,
yeah
right? And one of those things that kind of evolved for me was like, I was working for a company a couple of years ago where, especially in California, they
yeah
have what you call an 8538. So
okay
that's your pesticide disclosure that you have to give out to the customer, right?
okay
And inside of that houses like all of your products, all the active ingredients, all the EPA numbers. And so in California, Sean, if you
yeah.
add literally, if you add any product to your arsenal, to your approved materials list, you have to turn around and send that 8530 back out to every single client.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
Every single client. So
we have a treatment report that tells you all the data and the data sheets, but nothing like that. That's real strict. That is.
it gets very strict, but the goal behind that is because it's basically a way so the customer knows and they have knowledge as to this is the products that you could be applying, and then essentially
Okay.
whenever they get their treatment report, like you called it, or
Yeah.
the service report we call it
Yeah.
here, those things should match up, right?
Okay.
And so I think that's just. But here's the thing: in California, if you fail or you neglect to update your 8538 and send it out, then either the city, the county, or the state could come in and be like, "I'm going to slap you with a fine."
Oh, because you licensed over in America, ain't you? We
We're
don't.
like you have to be licensed in every state individually, correct?
Okay. We don't have licensing. Once you've got your certificates, you're kind of good to
Well, maybe
carry on.
maybe we're
You
calling
are.
them the same thing. Maybe a certificate is a license, right? Maybe it's
Yeah, but
equivalent.
do you have to reset yours every X amount of years?
No, we just have to
No.
do CEUs.
Yeah, we do something which is probably the same CPD, continuous professional development,
Yep, we
learning
call them.
hours,
Yep,
20, we get 20 points a year. We do to
yep.
do.
So here we call them CEUs or continuing education units.
It's basically the
Yeah.
same thing. It
Yep.
is. So
Yep.
I just heard that I was obviously wrong. I thought we licensed it, you had to resit it X amount of years, but you don't, obviously. I got it. You
Mm-mm.
don't. Thought
Um,
ask these questions because you do.
you know what? They're all fair questions, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of obviously comparative analysis between the different countries, and so. But yeah, as far as other things, I mean, between me working for the different softwares and having that
Yeah.
background, I mean, I can come into any company and I can look at your backend software, and I can basically, if you're using PestPack, Field Routes, Field Works, Surf Suite, whatever you're using, Gorilla Desk, I can come in and
Okay.
basically look at your software and see if you're fully utilizing it to its capability. Because a lot of
Okay.
people, they're not fully utilizing it, right?
Yeah,
And
they
that's
probably
a that's
don't
a
only know a little bit of what it does.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I took a so when I was working for the last company for Innovative Pest Solutions,
Yeah.
I think they were using Fieldwork HQ.
Okay.
It's called Fieldworks, but it's called Fieldwork HQ for .com. Long story
Okay.
short, I didn't know they had a marketing module. So I went on to learn their marketing module. I literally created a little flyer for, like, let's say mosquito control.
Yeah.
I emailed it out to all the customers. I'm not kidding you, Sean. In 2 days, I had brought in the company $25,000
That's very good. Yes. Yes. That's good.
in 2 days.
That's serious. two
Yeah.
days. Just some emails.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very good.
Just from an email, just from it going out, because I was like, it's around mosquito time. We don't have a mosquito program, so I basically I created an entire green mosquito program, did the marketing, emailed it out, and bam, look what happened.
It's good. That is. When you're consulting, do you do field biology reports for sites? Say a site, say a facility or food factory is audited. Do you get called in to do audits on the site, like for pests and to make sure everything's in order, that the pest control company's doing their job? Do you get involved in
Yes.
that? You do? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
You
literally
do?
right now, I can't talk about the customer that I'm working with, but I'm working with a
Oh,
customer right
obviously.
now where I'm literally, I'm building out, I'm doing kind of like what you're talking about. I'm
Yeah.
building out informational target pest flyers to help train their staff on certain
Okay.
target pest species. And so definitely have done, I mean, back with Terminex, I unfortunately did a lot of auditing. I mean, with Advanced IPM, I built out auditing programs. I'm building out an auditing program right now for this customer. And so
Okay.
I'm definitely, when I say audit, I mean like a quality assurance audit program, that kind of stuff. I'm building
Yeah.
them out based on BRC, SQF, AIB. I'm definitely very familiar with all that.
BRC. Yeah. Yeah. It's a global
You have
standard.
BRC over where you are.
We do. I don't do any
Yeah.
BRC sites, but we're just small pest control company.
But here's the thing, though.
You know,
You could bring on somebody like me as a BCE and have me on retainer, and I could help you basically build up to do your BRC sites.
yeah, we'll see. Maybe one day we'll see. We will. But yeah, is there any other element?
I'm sorry.
Is it? Sorry. Carry on.
No, you go ahead.
Is there any other elements to consulting that you can help your companies with?
You said, is there any other elements? Is that what you said?
Yeah, is there any other elements to consulting that you can help people with?
I recommend people go to my LinkedIn, go see that checklist, because it's literally got, I've created LMS, learning management software programs for companies. I've created entire onboarding programs for companies. I like to help companies basically, especially with onboarding. Sometimes it's very messy, right? You go in and they've got everything on paper. They've got it in a million different places. It's good to bring it all into one software. I can build CEU program and training programs for companies. I can review your P&L and save you money like that.
So you're a bit more than the average pest control consultant. You're a lot more. You're more of you're basic.
I'm everything.
You're
I'm everything everywhere all at once.
You are. You definitely are, because I don't think most pest-based consultants can offer that kind of service. So you've got a quite unique service you have.
Yeah, I would agree. I appreciate that. Being able to be in all the different positions I've been in, like a director of operation in my last role, and technical director, and doing all these things, you get to kind of learn like all the different pieces of the pie.
It's good because they always say, though, even in pest control, when you're on as you say, when you're on the tools, every day is a learning day.
Oh my God, yes,
definitely. That's what we all say, but it is for you. The amount of facets you've been involved in, definitely. Because I've never actually been on the what's it called? Yeah, like where you go selling, as in like to big companies.
Oh, like a sales rep? You've never been a sales rep? Oh my God.
I have knocked a few doors, don't get me wrong. None of it worked, but I might give it another go. But yeah, no. See, in England, you can door knock commercial businesses, but in America, it's in England. You know how you go and knock on doors on residential residents?
Right.
That's not a thing to do. You might get yourself one of them if you do. You might offend somebody.
So, but here's the question. Could you go and put like a door hanger on somebody's door without talking to them? You just leave it on their door.
No, it's not a done thing. I suppose you could, but it depends how people take it.
So then here's the question. How do you cold call residential pest control in the UK?
You don't. They ring you. You advertise locally, and then if someone's got a problem, they look for you.
You advertise. So here's a question: if you're in the grocery store and you meet somebody, could you be like, and they were like talking to you, or if you weren't home, what do you guys have like a feed store there? Like we have Home Depot and Lowe's here, where you go to get like stuff for like building things and getting plants and everything.
Oh yeah, we've got shops like that. Yeah.
So if you're in that store, because I like to go to those stores. Good example. I was in Home Depot. That's what we call it here, Home Depot, the other day. And this guy, I was in the pest control section. And this guy was grabbing a bait off the shelf right here in Hawaii. And I was like, hey, if you don't mind me asking, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I have all these. No, sorry, I'm wrong. He grabbed the combat spray.
Okay.
And I was like, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, well, I have these ants around my tree. And I was like, no. That spray is just going to put a Band-Aid on it. You need a bait. You know what I mean? So I was walking him through it, but it was just even being there in that moment, helping that guy was a really cool experience. And he appreciated it, right?
You could do that to see what reaction you get. You could do that. Yeah, you could.
So at that point, could I say, hey, by the way, I own a pest control business. If you want my card, I'd be happy to help you out with other stuff.
Yeah, you could do that. You could.
You're not going to get punched, right?
No, on the thought side. No, that was more of a joke, but there's some places it's a touchy subject in England.
Yeah.
Because they might think, oh, you think my home's dirty. Things like that.
I would say it's kind of an understood rule here that we don't like solicitors to come up to our doors, what we call them.
Yeah.
You're talking about the same thing as solicitation. So even here in the States, nobody likes solicitors because, dude, when you're home to enjoy your home. You're not home to try to answer the door.
Exactly. No, you are right.
I can agree with you.
You are. So We've covered quite a lot actually. I'm very surprised how much we've covered so far. But yeah, it's been fun so far. Everyone, press the follow button and the like button. Let's grow the channel. But yeah,
I don't know where it is, but follow Sean, follow Pest Perspectives, folks.
yeah,
Follow it now.
yeah. Thank you. Um, so what's it like being a science teacher then?
I mean, to be honest with you, teaching can be rewarding, but I feel like, I mean, Sean, I don't know. I think you just turned 40, right?
I have, yeah, I
Yeah. So
have.
you and I are about 5, 6. We're 6 years apart. I'm 46, and so I will say this: growing up in our time was much different than growing up in today's world.
Yeah, it's very different. It is.
There's not the same discipline that we had back in the day when we were growing up, and it's like there's not the same fear that you had, and so in today's society, there's literally zero fear.
Oh no,
They have no fear.
your teachers back then could shout at you everything. They can't blink now at you. They can't.
Correct.
You know, you're not allowed to. I don't know if it's the same in
Literally.
America. Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm not kidding you. Like, when I first got here and I was teaching at Wahiwa, there was one day where I left where I actually thought I was having a heart attack.
Oh no.
Like, it was so much stress, so much anxiety. I was just like, it was ridiculous. And excuse me, I had to quickly learn that I'm like, you know what? I don't know if you ever heard this quote, but if anybody can take this quote away from today, control the controllable.
Okay.
Control the controllable. And like, I mean, I'm one of those things where I'm like, I just close my eyes, take a deep breath, and then just repeat, control the controllable.
Yeah.
And it's just
Okay.
it's such a peaceful thing, and it brings me back down, and it kind of brings me back into place, and it lets me know that, man, I get to come home to all of this. I've got so many plants. I've become like a plant whore here, now, and I love all my
Yeah.
plants. And so I mean, I live at the beach. I can literally ride my bike to the beach every day,
Oh, that's nice. That is. That really is
and so
nice.
I try to remember that I'm like, that's just a temporary thing. And so
Yeah.
as far as getting back to the question, teaching is definitely tough. It's not
Yeah.
as easy as it used to be.
It's rewarding though when you find students that really appreciate your work because I bet you got a few students that excel and you, in your science lessons, or have you got ones where they weren't doing so well, but your teaching methods have brought them right up? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely had some where the light bulb went on. I mean,
Yeah,
the thing I loved about Wahiwa that I kind of miss even in my new school
yeah.
is that I got to teach an elective, and my elective I was teaching at Wahiwa was entomology. So I was taking the kids out, and we got
Oh,
nets,
okay.
and we were collecting bugs, and we were identifying the
Yeah,
bugs and doing cool stuff like that. So that was really kind of cool to be able to potentially mold some future entomologists. That was a very cool experience. But as far as teaching the kids, I mean, some of the light bulbs come on, some of the light bulbs don't come on. It's just
okay.
it's that whole matter. So I think the coolest thing that I loved about, at least, which is really weird, but when I just left Wahiwa recently and I transferred over to a
Yeah,
charter school, and
okay.
there was one kid that, like, a little kid that just started bawling the second I told him I was leaving. And it was just
Really?
very,
Oh,
yeah, it
wow.
was just so kind of like endearing, because I was like, I didn't realize I had made such an impact in such a short time.
Yeah, it's good. Like my son had a teacher that left, and he was really upset. She moved on to the bigger school, and we bought her a big present and everything. We did. We're leaving, but yeah, you can have that an impact on a child's life like that. You can.
Yeah.
I suppose it's a good feeling, but also a bit weird.
Yeah.
That because teaching is also supposed might be wrong. For some people, it's a vocation. They enjoy it. They do, obviously. After so long, because I know a couple of teachers in America, and the main thing that came up is we don't get enough money. There's a lot of budgets keep getting cut, etc. They
Yeah.
do.
No.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say that I did not relocate to Hawaii to teach to make money.
No. No.
I relocated to Hawaii to teach so that I could have more time off. That was the goal. I mean, teachers get a massive amount of time off.
Oh yeah, basically the whole summer. I don't know how long you're off for in the summer.
Actually, they technically get off half of a year,
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's
because
not bad
between,
then.
like, we have fall break, 2 weeks at Christmas, a week at spring break, 2 months in summer, and then every other paid holiday.
That's about the same, roughly, give or take. Here, it sounds like
Yeah.
it does. But yeah, it's I've had a teacher on the podcast now. Love it.
Hey.
Science teacher.
Now,
Love it.
I will say my favorite teaching experiences so far has been being an
Yeah.
adjunct professor. I was an adjunct professor of biology for 3 years, and I
Okay.
loved every second of it. I taught biology 1 and 2 for majors at a
Yeah.
state college back in Florida, and I loved that a lot.
To hear.
That was extremely rewarding, and if you want to check me out, I'm on ratemyprofessor.com.
I'm going to have a look after. I'll have a look later. RateMyProfessor.com.
Yeah.
Number 1 trending on the main page.
No, I'm way. You have to actually put my name in with Rate My Professor because it's been so long ago now.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
but that's the crazy part about the internet, dude. Is it's still sitting there from 2012.
2012. It does the way the internet is now. It's just there. Like when I was me and you were growing up. Be honest, the internet was a thing that came along when I was about at secondary school, and it was like dial-up, and like. But
Yep.
nowadays, kids like my kids grow up with the internet. They're like,
Yep.
say YouTube goes down for a minute, it's the end of the world. Like I didn't have the internet. We used videotapes, things like that.
Do you know
You
where the
know,
first YouTube video was ever recorded?
no.
The first YouTube video was recorded in 2005 at the San Diego Zoo.
Oh no, yes. I didn't know the date. I've
Yeah.
heard about this one. I've heard about. I need to go back and look. It's got hundreds of millions of views now, or billions, for being the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I only knew because I was at the zoo and there was there's a big huge memorial for it.
Oh right.
But that brings us to the fact that this year is the 20-year reunion for YouTube.
Nice. YouTube's 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
It is. So, yeah, 20 years of YouTube.
So Sean, tell me, why did you decide to start Pest Perspectives?
Because I look in America and I listen to, going to shout some podcasts out. Bug Books podcast, don't know if you listen to it. They're nice guys. I listen to.
Yeah, I was on that one.
Oh, you've been on that one. I'll have to go back and
I
have
was
a look.
on one of the first ones.
I'll have to go back and have a look then. I will at that because I listen. I didn't because I've been running for so long. I listened to. I don't know if you know Brad and Jack from Tales from the Crawl Space. I watched that one as well. I've been on it as well.
I have not been on that one yet, but I need to check that out. Tales from the Crawl Space.
No, just anyone can listen to it. Don't worry, but it can be. It's not PG rated. It's not PG. Let's just say
Hey,
that.
you want to know what I found on one of my crawl space walks whenever I was I was with Terminex?
What's that?
Yes.
Raccoons, tiger. Nah, stupid.
A body.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I bet you had to call the police straight away, didn't you?
Yeah, it was definitely very interesting.
Was it fresh? No.
Semi, not super. It wasn't fresh enough that I noticed it. I can tell you that.
They would. Oh, the Tales from the Crawl Space people would love you to tell that story.
Oh, my other story was whenever I was working for Terminex, and we were doing a bed bug inspection back in Florida, and we actually came across another same thing. It was underneath the bed.
You get it all in America, don't you?
Well, that's in Florida. We call it Florida Man. I'm just kidding.
Wow. But yeah. But the reason I started podcasting was I looked at all the different podcasts. I looked in the UK. Generally, there isn't, apart from the Beauties and Beasties, which started since last year or before. But generally, for a regular pest control podcast, it's just the Beauties and Beasties. And Killgerm, they're a training company in the pest control. They sell pest control products. But they make a podcast every so often. You get CPD for points for listening. But for an actual regular podcast, only Beauties and Beasties. And I thought, well, I've got experience in podcasting. And it's just a case of when I've got the bottle to go and do it, I reckon I should give it a go. So I did because of the experience I had in the gaming. I thought, I'll give it a go. I spoke to the guys from the Beauties and Beasties, Sean and the crew, and they've been very supportive. They have. I'm not going to compete with them on the Friday night. I can't go live yet because I haven't got the right stats. But they've been nothing but supportive so far from it. That's basically why I want to do it, because there isn't really any other UK-based podcast. Really, there's not much there. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go.
You know what the thing for me is like? I think the live podcast would be cool, but I'm also like, I don't actually know if I would. A lot of people aren't going to have time to like, to log into a live podcast unless they literally
No,
have the time.
yeah, no. What like with the Beauties and Beasties, the vast majority of people listen after. They
Right.
get like
They listen
they
to the
get
recording.
they get
Yeah,
X amount of people live, but the vast majority of people catch it after the fact. So they
correct.
get the
Because the whole
most
point of a
of.
podcast or any of this is that you can listen to it aftermath on your own time.
You can,
Yeah.
and I do that. I now take notes on podcasts now, so I remember. I got some advice of someone, Kieran Boot, because I used to forget stuff, and he said, "Why don't you make a note of each podcast? Then when you can
Right.
remember it, you can look it up." Because he said you can't remember everything, and I literally can't
I mean,
with some things.
only so much brain capacity, right?
Exactly. Um, do you think within pest control that pest control networking is quite important to the business? Do you think, like with things like expos and talking to other pest controllers from around the country and the world, do you
Um,
think it's
I
important?
I 100% think that networking is huge. I've literally found almost every single job I've had through LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And so I'm like, and I think I have a little over 5,000 followers on LinkedIn. And so, I mean, not that that's a ton, but it's a decent amount, you know. And
I
so,
thought you had more than that. I thought you had more. Maybe.
on LinkedIn, I don't have a ton, but I'm like,
Ah,
a lot of my other things I do. But, to your question and to your point, networking is crucially important in the pest control industry. And so, as far as going to events, yes and no. I mean, the challenging part about events is that it takes time and it takes money, right? And a lot of
does.
people don't have the time for sure, and the money
Yeah.
is going to be a question, right? Do they have it built into their budget? Do they have it built into their marketing budget? Do they have the ability to go? And so the networking, as far as physical networking, becomes a challenge. That's why I love
Yeah.
this stuff,
Oh,
right? Because
oh
we can
yeah.
network, and I would even love it if we had a thing where we could bring a lot of people onto something like this, where we could all talk at the same time and have fun sharing stories, right?
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be a good way of doing it. It would, but yeah. So like we out in the UK, we like big expos. We've got like Pest Tech,
Right.
which is the MPTA National Pest Technicians Association, which is in November. Then the BPCA do their version. They've got this year PPC Live, which is they do a big one in London. That's called Pestex, but it's a little bit littler than they basically alternate between a massive one and a slightly smaller one. But Pest, and then I've never been to theirs yet. I haven't, but it's meant to be good. It is, but but I will be at Pest Tech definitely, people. I'm a board director, so
So you have to be there now. You don't have a choice.
yeah, I'll be helping. I'll be seeing everyone. I missed a load of people last year. I met loads of people.
Is this
I
your first
sure.
time being on a board?
Yeah, well, technically, I am a director of the pest control company with my dad, but I wouldn't. I've never been in a situation where you're with other people and it's on the board. So this is
I
something brand new for me. This
will
is.
tell you,
I'm
Sean.
excited.
Be careful what you wish for.
Oh no, I know. It's going to be fun. It is.
The beauty of at least you being on the board is that it gives you a chance to network. It gives you a chance to showcase what you bring to the table. It gives you a
Yeah,
chance to showcase your company, and so you're able to at least do what you're doing and making it a piece of your everyday work life as well, because it intertwines with that directly, right?
yeah. I've got
For me right
ideas.
now,
I
do
have.
what?
I've got ideas I'm going to put to them, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's about you today. It's about you. It is. But what is your favorite? All right, you love bugs then. What's your favorite bug?
My favorite bug. Let's see here. I'd probably say, I'm trying to think. It's really weird, but I'm like, I loved working for mosquito control. Here, I'm only bringing this up because I can
Okay,
show you guys my mosquito.
not nice.
Yeah.
That is good. That is.
So I loved working for mosquito control, and I did that for 3 years. And so, I don't know. I think they're fascinating. They all look different, there's all kinds of different
Yeah,
species, and there's so many different mosquito-borne arboviruses. And I mean, literally, mosquitoes are still the leading number one killer in today's world with malaria.
they are. Yeah, we don't. I've never dealt with them. I haven't. Well, I know we have them apparently.
I was gonna say, you guys don't have mosquitoes there?
Um, apparently, it's not as far. I mean, I don't do them personally. I never had a job for them, but I've been
You
told they
guys don't
are
sell
here.
mosquito control?
No, I don't know anyone that actually does. So I might be wrong. We may not have them at all. Or I imagine there's a lot of variants of mosquitoes, isn't there? I'd imagine.
I mean, there's a lot of different species, but I would be very surprised if you don't have mosquitoes there because you have water.
Yeah, we do have water. Because
And
I mean,
literally
to
three
be
out of the four
fair,
stages of the life cycle is in the water.
to be fair, we must have them because I did it on my RSPH level 2 in pest management. It's just I've never actually been called for mosquitoes, and actually, we do have cockroaches here, but I've never done a cockroach treatment or never been called for one in my area. Never actually been called for one because we don't work in a lot of the big cities. You see, we
Okay.
don't, and that's where they predominantly are. They are so. I had to learn how to do cockroaches and treatments on the course, and I did learn about mosquitoes. So yeah, we most likely have got mosquitoes, but it's something I've not done. I know what to do, but if you've not got the call for it, I'm not that experienced in that department. But I would say if it's on a course, we must have them because you wouldn't learn about something you don't deal with. Like we,
I'd be
like we
very
don't.
surprised if you don't have them. It'd be very shocking.
It would be, but anyway, it's would you now? I've kept you around for about an hour, so I'm going to ask you another question, and we'll wrap it up there. Is that all right? Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, good. So, do you have any advice for anyone wanting to go into pest control or the pest control industry at large or that kind of whole sector? Do you have any advice? I know it's a very broad question. I do. It's
You
quite
know,
broad.
it's interesting, right? Because I'm teaching now, and
Yeah,
it's interesting how quickly I'm realizing I miss pest control. And so I feel like it's one of those things for anybody who's thought about it. Once you get, it sounds weird. Like you're like, okay, if you're doing something else, you're like, why would I want to get into pest control? There's something fascinating about being able to solve problems and help people and come up with programs to help people
yeah,
live healthy lives and be healthier. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize what insects bring to the table as far as like different diseases, mechanical transmission from like roaches and different things, and like people having German cockroaches in their house, right? That can bring so many different issues for somebody having bed bugs in their house. I don't know if you know, but bed bugs are now being known to transmit MRSA, methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus.
wow. But bed bugs are
you
a
know
big problem in England as well. They are everywhere, I believe.
right. And so it's like one of those things where I'm like, to be able to help somebody, I think that's what's big
Yeah,
for me. And so I just encourage anybody, whatever you're doing, make sure you're happy with what you're doing and that you're able to help people and empower people. And so if you're not happy with what you're doing, it's never a bad time to at least try to make the switch. Because I tell people, if you don't like pest control, you can always go back to what you're doing. Same thing for me. If I'm not loving teaching, I can always
yeah,
go back to pest control.
exactly. But that is true. I mean, I fell into pest control. I mean, I didn't start out wanting to. I didn't even ever know it was a job. My dad started doing it, and he built the business up. And eventually, he said to me, "Do you want to come on board?" And I was scared. Don't get me wrong, because I wasn't sure if we were going to get enough work for it to make it. To
Right. To
both
pay
of
your
us. But
bills.
it's
Right.
yeah, it's turned out all right because it was during COVID it happened. My work job, I worked in a factory, and they we had a furlough thing. We had to go home, and they
Yeah. Yeah.
paid you, and it ended, and they wanted me to come back to work. And my dad said to me, and during that time, I'd done an online course and got my basic qualifications, basic ones, because they allowed it. They allowed it to be done online. Then they did, and they asked me to come back to work, and I, in a nice way, told them I'm not coming back. I'm
There
going to be a
you
pest controller.
go.
And I was off, and
And here
I've
you are.
enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it ever since. But yeah, I'm here now.
And
But
I will
yeah,
tell you this, for anybody who decides to come into pest control, once you're in, you're in. You never leave.
it's a very good job. And not many people leave the industry. Obviously, some people do, but a lot of people end up loving it because there's like different specialities, isn't there? It's not just
That's
rats,
why
mice,
that's why
and
I've done everything
yeah,
I've done. You know,
yeah,
some people look down upon me for being in jobs for like short amount of times, you know, but I'm
yeah,
like, I wanted to get to know all the different aspects of the industry.
loads of
You
it,
know, working for Douglas
tons.
Products as a business development manager was, I got to go and do all the trainings for all the clients on, you know, the stewardship trainings on Vicane
Yeah,
and Profume, the standard
yeah.
fumigation for residential and, you know, commercial and commodity pest control. You know,
That's a
working for
question.
AmGuard and being a sales rep for them and learning all of their different product lines and doing all that. It was cool to be able to be a part of the distributorship and then do all, you know, all these different aspects.
Yeah, and actually, I forgot about that. Actually, what's it like training? Because I forgot about that question. Training, because you actually train people and train companies on pest. Was it in within pest control? The training you
Yeah.
did.
I mean,
Yeah.
even advanced IPM, which is PCT top 100, number 35. I think they did $35 million last year. And so, I
Okay,
mean,
that's
even when
good.
I was with them, I trained all the technicians. I mean, actually, so going back in time, when I came on board with them, they were using PestPack, and then they merged over. They switched over to a new software called Clipboard, and so
Okay.
I actually had to be a process. I had to be part since I already had the experience. I was part of the transition team or the conversion team from PestPack to Clipboard. I at that time had to create all the training guys, and then I had to train 175 technicians on the new software, get them set up on their iPad or sorry their tablets, do
Yeah.
all of that training, be that support resource. Like on day one when we launched the software, and I got 500 phone calls in one day.
Wow. Wow. But your phone died fast then, didn't it?
You
Did you
know
leave it
what?
on
I think I
charge?
almost died fast enough. I was exhausted. That was a long
So
day.
so what's it like training people? Was there any kind of do you have to have certain qualifications or be certified by a certain board to do training, or could you
Uh,
just do it?
Not
Or
necessarily. I
uh,
mean, there's a lot of technical directors for pest control companies out there that don't even have, you know, entomology degrees like I have. So, I mean, no, I don't think you need qualifications. I think you just need the experience.
yeah,
Excuse me. You need somewhat of the creativity to be able to create things and implement them and integrate them and, you know, move them forward. And
yeah,
then, you know, you just need some of that background experience because you can't just train if you don't know what you're training on or you don't know how to train.
that's true.
And so for me,
That is.
training is even with advanced IPM, I think we had 9 branches. And so it was a lot of times it was train the trainer. So the trainer could train the
Okay,
techs or sorry, train
okay,
the managers to train the service managers to train the technicians, you know, to go down that whole line. So
okay,
train the trainer is a big deal, which I thoroughly enjoy. But for that rollout, I literally went to every single branch and I actually did a training for every single technician.
okay. It's interesting. It's yeah, it's not something I don't think I'll ever. I don't think I'll ever end up being a trainer, but it is interesting. I will say that because
I mean, do you
I
want
think
to be?
that
It's all about if you want to be a trainer. I mean, like I enjoyed that. You know what I mean?
no, you have to be a certain kind of person, obviously, to do that. I'm not very. I'm yeah. I could probably train my son when my son comes on board. He's 10 at the minute, he wants to join the family business one day, but
Okay.
he's quite interested. I went to work. They had this day at school. I couldn't believe it. What was it? And it was go dress as your hero. He dressed up as me. I was like, wow. And he couldn't believe that. I was like, I couldn't. He even came to Last Pest Tech with us.
Oh,
Didn't met.
nice.
We met a load of. He liked that. All the free gifts. He loved it.
Of course.
Each stand you get free stuff, don't you?
Right.
Be like that as well. But no, it's all good. But yeah, no, training's a very important part. Obviously, you mentioned CPD, or what do you call it?
CEUs here.
CEU. Do you agree that CEU should stay in place forever? Because I do. I believe continuous training
I
should
think the
always be
challenge
done.
with CEUs, because I've actually created CEUs, I've gotten approved, you know, state approved CEUs where I literally create the
Okay.
program, I submit it to the state, I get it approved for the CEU or the CPD, like you're talking about, the
Yeah.
whole thing, implement it into
Okay.
the software for the actual company so that the technician can just do it from their phone.
All
I think
right.
the challenge for me with CPDs or CEUs is that a lot of times the state doesn't even care if you repeat it, right? So
Oh,
for at least here in the
right.
States, I can literally take a program I've created and literally just apply for a new number, and then just get the same exact program approved for a new number.
Oh, I don't think you
And
could.
so
Wow. Okay.
And I don't mind that because at the end of the day, it's a refresher, right? So
Yeah.
and we need to constantly be refreshed. That's the challenge is we don't see it enough sometimes to be able to actually do it. And so, especially when it's coming to what is it? Annual respirator training, annual pesticide safety training, annual fall
Yeah.
ladder safety training, annual heat training. I've done all those things, for
Yeah.
companies. And so actually, so normally what I do is when I would recreate them, I would add like a little, update to it, and then they would just watch the same thing again. At the end of the day, a lot of times they're just needing to get their hours, right? Stay licensed.
Yeah. Exactly. I
That's what it's
mean,
about.
the thing here is it's I wouldn't. You can't read like the Beauties and Beasties you're going on. They
Okay.
do one a month where if you listen to their podcast, you can get 12 points per year for watching the Beauties and Beasties.
Oh, I didn't know
But you
that.
get specific codes you can, and you input them, but you can't reuse them codes. They would know you've used them,
Right.
but they
But
check, so you won't be
yeah.
able to. Yeah,
But I mean, like, here's the thing though. Like, let's say I'm on a podcast and you get a
yeah,
CPD for it. I could
yeah,
be on a podcast next year and you could get another CPD for it. It's just a different code.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah, but
assuming.
it'd be a different subject. Obviously, it would be.
Yeah,
It'd be a
gotcha.
different subject. But then
Gotcha.
obviously you have to do like training courses. There's all sorts. I've even got a book of puzzles now, a puzzles book. It's got and if you complete it all properly, you get 12 CPD points for the book. £12 it costs. So
Oh wow.
I'm working my way through that. I love different ways of learning. It's a different. It's not all textbook, is it? It's visual. There's all different
Oh
styles
yeah.
of learning. There is.
Yep. Visual, auditory, all of the above.
I'm a big believer in that. The different ways of learning. I am.
Yep, me too.
So, but yeah, no. Thanks for your time today, Adam. I really appreciate it. Do you want to plug your stuff? Whatever you want to
Yeah.
plug, you can
So
plug
for
all of it.
yeah, so for anybody who wants to reach out to me directly, I think my WhatsApp is the same thing as my regular phone number, so it's just 352-408-6122. You can reach me you can reach me via email at Adam Holt BCE. That's B for boy, C for Charlie, E for Edward, or board certified entomologist at gmail.com. So again, that's Adam Holt BCE at gmail.com. And otherwise, you can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm connected to Sean and many other people. Feel free to reach out, message me directly, and I'm happy to answer questions about pest sense and or named at bug consulting.
Yeah, thanks for that. And if you need Adam, reach out to him on LinkedIn. He's very approachable, very friendly. We'll message you back. He won't ignore you. I've even got on WhatsApp now, and you're a good guy, mate. You are. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored. Again, I just love giving back and helping, and so thank you.
Second guest. You are the second guest. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching Pest Perspectives, everyone. Please like, share, and follow on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a rating on all platforms. How did you do that? All right, you're playing with the effects. There we go. That's what you're doing. Right. Yeah, cheers for that. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I've not learnt this software yet. That's probably what it is. I've not. But anyway, thank you everyone for tuning into Pest Perspectives. And I'll see you next week. Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Just adding this little bit in at the end. Shout outs to the guys at the Beauties and Beasties podcast for all the support. Shouts to Brad and Jack from Tales from the Crawl Space podcast. Please check that out. And also shout outs to a new podcast, female podcast called Pestrogen, hosted by Jerusa and Jenny Wilson. It's a unique female pest control related podcast that deserves a good shout out, and I'll put the links in the description if you want to check them out. But yeah, I just wanted to add these in at the end because I forgot to do it at the end of the podcast. I've added it in at the end. All right, thanks everyone.